This is a Bahuun vacuum cleaner light, and essentially it is a battery-powered green flashlight, and it has a little USB-C recharging port there, hook and loop fastener. And so you stick this to the side of the bottom of your vacuum cleaner, and it shines a green light across the floor or the surface you're vacuuming, and the idea is that dust will show up. Now, if you've ever shown a flashlight across the floor looking for a screw or something, the idea is very valid in that, yes, it will show things and make it very visible where the dust is. I do have a philosophical disagreement with the product idea in general, and the idea is you're not vacuuming your whole floor, you're only vacuuming where you see dust, and I think you should just vacuum the whole floor. But even so, even if you're vacuuming your whole floor, there's probably a use case here where you can say, well, did I get all the dust or not? Go back, vacuum again. Now it has 1, 2, 3 brightness levels, and then it turns off again. It says the battery capacity is 800 milliamp hours, has IP64 rating, it says. And in the package, in addition to the little instruction sheet and the light, there is a large number of these little stick-on grippy sticks. So you could theoretically attach this to multiple vacuums, or if you have one of these fall off, you could put this on a different one. So they include one here that's for the device, and then here they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are this thing would stick to. So you can move this between vacuums or use it on something that's not a vacuum potentially. I mean, you could just carry it around as kind of a handheld flashlight, but it's very much a solid line type beam. The beam is designed to go across the floor horizontally. You also get a USB A to C charging cable. And a pretty nice magnetically closing box. Now this guy costs $25. That seems like a decent amount of money to pay for a little green flashlight. It does have kind of the beam formed into a flat beam. It includes the the hook and loop fasteners, and it's designed specifically for this use. It'd be difficult to find a flashlight to tape to the bottom of your vacuum, but that seems a little expensive for what you're getting. Alright, so here's the floor attachment for my vacuum. I would have liked to stick it on this side over here, just because there's a screw out portion on this side here, and so I don't want to cover that up. Now to do that, I will have to turn this upside down and mount it kind of like that, and that is not how it's intended to be used, but it might work okay. Now if I do it in the intended use case, the light beam looks about the same. So I'm going to try mounting it upside down, and if I don't like how it works, I have plenty of these guys. I can put another mounting tape over here. I suspect what I would do there is I would maybe cut it right here so that it could rotate off when I need to take this off. Alright, so kind of dry fitting to get an idea for it. You have to be far enough forward the light isn't blocked by your vacuum. So, I want to go up that far. And I'm going to tilt it down just a little bit because I'm going upside down here. Alright, I have a terrazzo floor, which means it's very difficult to see anything here. And hopefully with this light we will pick up more things. So there I see something. Right there, that guy's illuminated by this light. That guy. So if I were to turn the light off, well, it's kind of dark out here, but obviously you can't see it with the light off. And it's very visible with it on. So there I found a few more items. So yes, it makes it certainly much easier to see things that are on the floor, and I suspect if I didn't have the terrazzo busy pattern floor, it would make it even easier. All right, so here's an example. This corner obviously didn't get close enough with the vacuum there. We can see things from the corner. And over there, I didn't get the vacuum in far enough. And there's a little crumb or something right there. Now I can see these two spots without the light because the window is right here. They're not a whole bunch more obvious with the light, but it's definitely visible there. All right, so in the dark, all right, so mounted upside down, that thing seemed to do a pretty good job lighting things up. To give it a full fair shake though, I am going to mount it on the other side in the proper orientation just to see if it's somewhat better or about the same. So we want it up off the floor just a little bit, and we want it far enough forward that the light will not be blocked. So about there. Okay, and so that is mounted in the proper orientation. I'm seeing some dust on the table from the vacuum. So that seems to be working about the same as when it was upside down. So I don't think you need to mount this right side up necessarily. You know, there it's picking up something on the ground there. So it does what it claims to do. It definitely makes it easier to see dust and dirt, little particulates, things like that on the ground. All right, I've plugged this into a USB-C power delivery cable. It correctly negotiated power delivery. It doesn't have a big demand here. It's 5 volts. It's drawing 0.7 amps. It's drawing about 3.5 watts. The light inside turns on red to indicate that it's charging. We're going to charge this guy all the way up and then do a runtime test. According to the manual, it will do 3.5 hours at the brightest setting and 6 hours at the lowest setting. It'll take 1.5 hours to charge. So if you get a blinking red light while using it, it means you only have 30 minutes of remaining battery charge. Okay, this guy now has a solid green light. It's drawing 0 current, so it's fully charged. Let's set it up with a runtime test to see how well it works. All right, we ran this guy all the way down. Now we're going to charge it back up, keep track of how many milliamp hours it takes to charge it back up. So the time lapse shows this guy getting just a little under 6 hours of runtime, and the red warning light was flashing near the end of that. All right, so 800 milliamp hours at 3.7 volts is just about 3 watt hours. It took 4 watt hours to charge this up. It did 924 milliamp hours at 5 volts. So I do believe that the battery in there is probably real close to 800 milliamp hour of capacity. All right, so this guy does what it's supposed to do. It definitely helps you see dust and things on the ground while you're vacuuming. And obviously it helps more if you're in a darker environment. It meets its specifications. It's pretty easy to install with this hook and loop fastener. I guess the real question is, do you need it? And this kind of falls directly into that classification of you have stuff and you're buying more stuff for your stuff. And are you the type of person who wants to buy stuff for your stuff? And is this something where you think that, hey, this is going to definitely improve my vacuuming?